court blocks grant program for Black women. Told you this was coming, right? We had a whole conversation about it, interviewed a young lady about this right here on Indisputable. So according to The Root, there has been another blow to affirmative action efforts nationwide. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit has stopped the Atlanta-based Fearless Fund from administering $20,000 to Black women business owners. The decision was made on Monday, June 3rd, following ongoing opposition to the Fearless Fund, spearheaded by conservative activist Edward Blum, who insisted that the program is likely racially discriminatory. Black women receive less than 1% of the $215 billion administered in venture capital funding last year, even though they are the #1 growing demographic of business owners in America. After the Supreme Court abolished race-conscious college admissions last year, Blum, a staunch opponent of affirmative action, decided to go after it in a private sector manner. However, U.S. District Court Judge Thomas Thrash Jr., who was appointed by President Bill Clinton, initially ruled that the Fearless Fund's grant program was the kind of free speech protected under the First Amendment. However, the 11th Circuit panel disagreed. With 2 out of the 3 judges being appointed by Trump, the Fearless Fund is currently evaluating their options, but this has certainly set the precedent for similar venture capital funds going forward. The latest development is a major win for the right's attempts to eradicate DEI programs in corporate America. The appeals court ultimately disagreed with a federal judge who ruled in September that the lawsuit was unlikely to prevail based on the First Amendment. Now, let me say this. When the affirmative action hearing came down, when the affirmative action ruling came down from the U.S. Supreme Court, I wrote an op-ed about it. I encourage you to go to that op-ed when you can. Because in the op-ed, I'm not only arguing against the conservative or conservatives, especially Clarence Thomas, who wrote a summary that wasn't even a summary. I also had to make an argument against progressives who agreed with the ruling. You see, that's a checker move when you agree with your opponents on oppressive policy. But we're playing chess. Politics is a game of chess. Checkers, you use power to gain position. In chess, you use position to gain power. And I said, this ruling positions our country to eliminate all equity and inclusion programs, from scholarships to grants and everything else. I put it right in the language of the op-ed. Sometimes we think things are cause and effect. Sometimes things are more so energetic reactions that continue to happen over and over and over again. All right, put him up full mast. Alfonso David, president and CEO of the Global Black Economic Forum and the attorney. He's an attorney representing the Fearless Fund. God bless him. Released a statement about the court's decision. Quote, the majority ruled that an 1866 law designed to provide economic freedom to newly freed slaves actually prohibits the Fearless Foundation from providing grants to Black women. We disagree. As the dissenting judge pointed out, the discrimination in access to funding the Fearless Foundation seeks to address is long-standing and irrefutable. The statement continued, this is the first court decision in the 150-year history of the post-Civil War civil rights that has halted private charitable support for any racial or ethnic group. The dissenting judge, the district court, and other courts have agreed with us that these types of claims should not prevail. This is not the final outcome of this case. It is a preliminary ruling without full factual record. We are evaluating our options. And listen, if you want to change some things, make sure you are involved, all right? Because they coming. They are coming. Okay, sharing thoughts here.
Yeah, I just wish we could just flip the script here, just like the real affirmative action when it comes to getting into these prestigious colleges and universities is familial ties, nepotism, the like, because that's what's really going on. So let's end all of it. And let's just go merit-based and let's see what happens then.
Yeah,
let's see if you really do that. And everybody has a fair opportunity, which is utopia, is not going to happen. Then what would happen? Let's just see.
Yeah, they say, affirmative action not that bad after all.
Right.
That's what would happen.